Welcome to 52 Drinks, 52 Weeks. By the end of this week, we'll be celebrating International Sauvignon Blanc Day on the 1st of May. And this is a varietal that has caused more debates and disagreements between the both of us, isn't it? I love the varietal, and you can't see the reason why I should do that.
No, well, I don't hate it, but let's see how this discussion evolves. And let's start with some history about the varietal. Okay, so Sauvignon Blanc, the word comes from Sauvage Vine. Okay, and Sauvage Vine means it was a wild growing vine. It was originally in the Loire in the 1500s. The name used to be Fier back then. So Sauvage Vine meaning a wildly growing vine, lots of yield, and that's one reason why it's been so popular because it gives you high yields, doesn't need too much sun, ripens quickly, and is okay with cool climates.
And not just cool climate, it grows in moderate climates as well. See India for that matter. It comes at a cost of losing a little bit of acidity, but the flavors become much more fruitier, much more riper, and not just crisp, fruity, or dry style. It also makes some excellent sweet wines. Sauternes is a great example. You can go to cooler countries and make ice wines out of it. And if in case it is a little underripe, look at Cremors, sparkling wines made out of Sauvignon Blanc.
Well, we already know the famous Loire appellations, Puy, Fumé, and Sancerre, and they're really characteristic. And then the Fumé story, when Robert Mondavi started making high-end Sauvignon Blanc in dry styles in Napa in the beginning, he called it Fumé Blanc because that was his sort of allusion to the word. And also remember that back in the day, most Sauvignon Blanc was because of its high yield was making some cheap syrupy sweet wine called Sauternes, and that's the word that carried over. But Puy Fumé, Sancerre, Fumé Blanc, Marlborough, other new expressions, the floral hues that come in, makes it maybe a little more special.
I'm very happy that you at least agree that it has a lot of diversity in it. And talking about diversity, when you go to Loire, you get more varietal style Sauvignon Blancs like Pouilly-Fumé and Sancerre that you mentioned. Come a little south to Bordeaux, and you would get blended style Sauvignon Blancs, where Semillon and Ugni Blanc, another great varieties that come to help it. And I think that's the basic difference when you drink French Sauvignon Blanc, varietal Sauvignons from Loire, blended styles from Bordeaux.
True. And you can also have a red version of Sauvignon Blanc if you have Cabernet Sauvignon, because in the 1850s and 70s, it naturally crossed with Cabernet Franc in the vineyards, perhaps of Bordeaux, to give us Cabernet Sauvignon. And that we know is very popular today. So, yeah.
I think you're falling in love with this varietal. So if not for Sauvignon Blanc, we'll have to thank it for Cabernet Sauvignon. And I think it is one of the easiest grape variety to fall in love with, and even easier to teach. People do not understand blackberries and blackcurrants and all of that stuff, talking about red ones. But in India, everybody knows what a lime is, what a gooseberry or amla is, what a shimla mirch or capsicum is, what an asparagus is, and what a fresh cut grass smells of. And pair that with light-bodied, simple, highly crisp and acidic wines, and that is what a Sauvignon Blanc is. And it becomes even more, easy to like this grape variety because there's rarely a talk about it being in barrels or batonnage or yeast aging, and even evolution in the bottle. Make it, drink it, and it is easy that.
Well, to retort, well, it's not very terroir driven sometimes. So outside of a Sancerre and Puy Fumé, most Sauvignon Blancs, no matter where you plant them, still have this very major common denominator of notes to them, which you just mentioned. So it's not that blank a canvas to work with like Chardonnay and Riesling can be. And also in Bordeaux, we do talk about aging Sauvignon Blanc, and you have the white wines that can age for many, many years, and they develop and evolve to tertiary character as well. So yeah, not all clean and straight.
And for people who do not like, those sort of complex words, there are words like cat's feet and freshly cut rubber tennis ball and badly made mojitos to describe Sauvignon Blancs. And that is where the discussion, the disagreement between both of us comes. You believe that it is a very jacketed varietal. It's sort of like very samey and very identical where it comes from. And I believe that it is such a rebellious grape that you have to be a very crafty winemaker or viticulturist to derive more out of it. So this is a varietal that challenges even the better ones in the industry.
Well, it's not a bad grape. It's just that personal preferences. So I sometimes like a Fumé Blanc, and there'll be, Chilean styles and Australian, and everybody has theirs. And I can pick brands, but overall as a grape, you know where I stand on it. What about Indian brands? Because you guys were there recently. What about the Indian Sauvignon Blanc?
So I think there was a consensus between all the winemakers where they said Sauvignon Blanc is consistently doing very well in India. There are some barrel fermented styles from Grover's La Reserve, Pouilly-Fumé style that they are coming up with. It is surprising that in a hot place like Hampi, Charisma is doing such an excellent job with Sauvignon Blanc. And go to Sula and you can get a fruitier style of Sauvignon Blanc as well, the Californian one that you were talking about. So I think again goes to prove there's a lot of variety, there's a lot of styles. I
So
think
what
you
are
and
we
I should.
tasting? So what are we tasting?
Today I am tasting a Sancerre. It is a little older, 2014 on a Bourgeois.
Right.
I'm going the French way. What are you up to?
So I'll take is the Charisma. So I'll have a good collection for a grape. I'm not too keen on all this. Charisma's 2016 that won the San Francisco Award there. I've got a nice Marlborough Ward Valley, which is I think one of the most value for money Sauvignon Blancs you can have out there in the market. And then I've got this very special one, which I'm waiting for a special time. And I think we should open it together. It's called Heaven's Door by Ewald Zweitek, an Austrian winemaker in Styria. I think it's a crazy style. Really expensive wine, but more importantly, it's called Heaven's Door because he's a rock and roll fan and a Guns N' Roses fan, and that's his sort of tribute to them. So, but I'm going to taste the Charisma for now. How's your Sancerre?
Well, it definitely has evolved. You can see a little darker color. Generally, Sauvignon Blancs can be as light as water. And it is showing a little bit of minerality and terroir that you were mentioning. It's got a little bit of evolution. There is a little bit of fruit. Surprisingly, a tinge of saltiness is also there. Few minutes ago, it wasn't as fruity, but now it is. And it's got this long palate that is layered. Hint of smoky toastiness is also there. So I'm happy with what it is.
Well,
How's your Charisma?
well, there's a common denominator of notes, is what you said. But the amla is really present here. But apart from that, I find, it's less lemon rind and more lemon rind brulee tart. It's got the slight smoky, creamy texture to it. Probably tropical, slightly warmer climates, I guess, but still crazy acidity and all fresh. I just still think it's jacketed. But as a grape, not Charisma style. I think these are the good styles of wine, yeah. But yeah.
Agree on this one. But one thing is for sure, summers are coming. And it'll make a perfect drinking wine. I'm pretty happy that we guys have already started with the summers, and we have already pulled out our favorite Sauvignon Blancs. So I think happy birthday to the grape variety that has given us a lot of chats. And this discussion will go on. We will see who wins. But for now, cheers to this.
Yes.